water tower leaned above the field where we first learned to love. Its silver painted turned to brown, like every promise in this town. I found the place behind the weeds where you carve yours beside my name. Your letters faded in the rain, while mine still looked almost the same. Your initials beneath the water tower held one summer past its final hour. Your initials beneath the water tower still wait where you once stood. Time erased the road between us, but not those marks upon the wood. Your name grew faint through wind and weather. Mine stayed darker underneath, like the years had taken only you and left your memory here with me. We climbed that hill on Friday nights and watched the freight trains trade their lights. You said this town could never hold two restless hearts that dreamed of more. But when the morning bus arrived, I chose the road, you stayed behind. I thought the world would make me free. I never knew what leaving meant. Your initials beneath the water tower kept the truth I learned too late. Oh, your initials beneath the water tower still wait where you once stood. Time erased the road between us, but not those marks upon the wood. Your name grew faint through wind and weather. Mine stayed darker underneath, like the years had taken only you and left your memory here with me. I traced your letter with my hand and felt the boy I used to be. He had a future in his pocket, but could not see what he would lose. Your initials beneath the water tower caught the last light of the day. I carved one line beneath our names, then laid my own regret away. The rain may wash those marks together, till no one knows who we once were, but I will always see your name beneath the water tower. The evening settled on the town. The rusted ladder cast its shadow. I walked away, but left my heart where our two names were carved together. I found it in a leather case, your old address, my younger hand, a Memphis skyline on the front, 4 quiet lines I never sent. I wrote that pride and made me blind, that you were right and I was wrong. Then folded up the truth I owed and carried it for 40 years. A postcard I never sent to Memphis, stayed closer than any friend. It crossed no state, it bore no stamp. It never reached the other end. I had the words, I had the address, but pride kept holding back my hand. Now every mile between us lives in a postcard I never sent. We played the clubs on Beale till dawn, 2 hungry boys with 1 guitar. Then one bad night, 1 bitter word turned brotherhood to separate roads. I heard you made a life down south, a wife, 2 sons, a little store. I meant to call when mama died, then let another season pass. A postcard I never sent to Memphis, stayed closer than any friend. It crossed no state, it bore no stamp. It never reached the other end. I had the words, I had the address, but pride kept holding back my hand. Now every mile between us lives in a postcard I never sent. An apology grows heavier the longer it remains unsaid. And sometimes one unopened door outlives the hands that built it. That postcard never made it to Memphis. Your old address had disappeared. The clerk returned it to my hands and marked it lost among the years. I placed it my only picture reach their home, but still confess what hearts became. The Memphis sky stayed blue and still. Above 4 words I could not send, I lost a brother to my pride, and kept his name until the end. Mama's apron still smell like Sunday. Cornbread rising, coffee strong. One faded cloth inside a drawer brought the whole house home once more. We cleared our kitchen after rain, packed the dishes, swept the place. Her wooden spoon lay by the stove, the last small thing her hands had known. Behind the towels, folded tight, I found her apron, blue and white. I held it close against my face, and 40 years fell out of place. Mama's apron still smell like Sunday, like chicken frying after church, like biscuits cooling by the window while she sang and did her work. It smelled like all the hands she welcomed, every child she kept from harm. Mama's apron still smell like Sunday, and Sunday still felt like her arms. She wore it when the rent came due, and made one meal feed more than 2. She wore it when my father cried, then dried his tears and saved his pride. She tied those strings around her waist and turned hard times to something blessed. We never knew how little stayed, because she gave before she ate. Mama's apron still smell like Sunday, like warm brown sugar, smoke and rain, like cousins laughing round the table, calling everyone by name. It smelled like mercy without asking, like a light left in the dark. Mama's apron still smelled like Sunday, and Sunday still lived in my heart. used to think that home was timber, a porch, a roof, a piece of land. Now I know a home is kindness made by someone's tired hands. It is stretching what is little till there's enough for everyone. It is wearing out an apron while making sorrow taste like love. Mama's apron still smelled like Sunday, though her kitchen had grown steel. I tied it gently round my daughter and felt the empty doorway feel. We cooked her bread, we sang her old song, let the youngest children join. Mama's apron still smelled like Sunday, and her love fed one more time. My mama's apron still smell like Sunday, like faith that never fades away. The cloth was warm, but what she gave us still warms every table today. I folded it beside a Bible where the morning light could fall. Mama's apron smelled like Sunday, and Sunday smelled like home to us all. My daughter opened the door at midnight with 20 years between eyes. I brought no flowers, brought no answers, only truth I could no longer hide. The rain ran cold along her street. My worn-out hat hung by my knee. I stood beneath that yellow light, rehearsing words I could not write. I missed her birthdays, missed her tears, let anger steal the tender years. I called my silence being strong, but every silent day was wrong. The hallway light came shining through, and there she stood, the child I knew. My daughter opened the door at midnight, but did not open up her arms. She saw the father who had failed her, standing tied beneath the storm. I said, I know I came too late now, and sorry cannot clear the years. My daughter opened the door at midnight, and let me speak through all my tears. Her mother's eyes were in her face, her childhood picture filled the place. A little girl with ribbons tied, still waiting somewhere deep inside. She asked me why I stayed away, why pride was worth the price we paid. I had no lie that sounded kind, so I gave her what was truly mine. I laid my reasons on the floor and did not hide behind them anymore. My daughter opened the door at midnight, but did not open up her arms. She saw the father who had failed her, standing tied beneath the storm. I said, I know I came too late now, and sorry cannot clear the years. My daughter opened the door at midnight and let me speak through all my tears. Forgiveness is not one small moment, it is a road both hearts must choose. It cannot give a child her father on the nights he made her lose. She did not say that all was over, she did not say the hurt was gone. She only stepped back from the doorway and left the hallway light turned on. My daughter opened the door at midnight and placed one coffee in my hands. We sat beneath the kitchen window like two souls learning how to stand. She said, you cannot change my childhood, but you can show me who you are. My daughter opened the door at midnight, and morning found us talking still. I came with nothing worth forgiving, except a heart that finally tried. My daughter opened the door at midnight and left a little room inside. The rain moved softly toward the dawn. The years were lost, but hope lived on. She did not call me daddy yet, but she did not close the door again. I left before the sunrise came, with 50 miles in an old truck tank, one suitcase riding by my side, and a dream too big for that county line. The river shimmered cold and wild, A rusty bridge stretched to the other side. The tollman smiled beneath his cap. Son, that'll be your last dollar. Funny how life asks the biggest questions when your pockets are almost empty. The bridge toll took my last dollar, but it couldn't take the hope inside. I crossed that river with empty hands and a heart too stubborn to hide. Sometimes all you've got is courage. Sometimes that's enough to start. The poorest man can still be rich if he won't give up his heart. I found a room above a hardware store, a squeaky bed and a crooked door. Worked long days beneath the sun until my fingers learned every scar. There were nights I almost drove back home, wondering if I'd chosen wrong. Then I'd hear my daddy's voice, "Keep walking, son. Dreams aren't measured by where you begin. They're measured by how long you keep believing." The bridge toll took my last dollar, but it opened roads I'd never seen. Every hard-earned paycheck later started with that single leap. The bridge didn't know my story. It only asked for one small fee. Looking back, the price was tiny compared to who I'd become. 20 years later, I crossed that same old bridge again. The tollman was gone, the booth stood empty. I reached into my pocket, pulled out one silver dollar and laid it on the railing. Not to pay the bridge, but to thank it. Everything I own today. It taught me faith can carry farther than money ever could. Now whenever fear says turn around, I remember that old bridge and the young man who crossed it with $1 less and a lifetime more to gain. Some bridges cost money, the important ones cost courage. Mm. I found an old shoebox in the attic, covered with 30 years of dust. Ticket stubs, faded photographs, letters tied with a ribbon of trust. At the bottom lay a worn-out cassette, your handwriting still clear to see. You always thought of everything. Some songs don't live on the radio, they live inside the people who once held each other close. Our first dance was still on the cassette, still turning like the night we met. Every crackle, every little hiss couldn't hide our first sweet kiss. The music aged, but love stayed young. Every note remembered what we'd become. I borrowed an old tape machine from the repair shop down the street. The wheels turned slow, then suddenly your laughter filled the room. You whispered, "Don't step on my toes." I answered, "Then don't stop smiling." We both laughed like tomorrow had forever. Funny how an old recording can sound more alive than silence ever could. Our first dance was still on the cassette, hidden like treasure in the years. The melody wrapped around my heart and washed away the tears. Time can fade the photograph, it can yellow every page, but love keeps perfect rhythm, no matter what the age. My granddaughter asked, "Grandpa, what's a cassette?" I smiled, pressed play again, and said, "It's what we used before memories learned how to stream." Then I took her hand and showed her the same slow dance. Still teaching my heart how to smile. One old song, one slow dance, one beautiful lifetime. Now when the music starts again, I don't hear the years we've lost, I hear the promise we made. With our feet on that old wooden floor, still dancing somewhere in time. The tape reached the end, then softly clicked. But our first dance never did. once had turned his lights off, Maple Street was fast asleep. Only one old porch still glowing, casting gold across the leaves. Miss Evelyn sat in a rocking chair, knitting blankets in the night air. She smiled each time a car drove by, as if waiting for someone. Some people don't shine the brightest, they simply keep the light on for someone else. The last porch light on Maple Street burned for every wandering soul. If you were tired, if you were lonely, you always knew where to go. It wasn't just a little light, it was hope dressed up in gold. Sometimes heaven starts with one porch and an open door. One December snow came early, covering every fence in white. A young man pulled beside the road, his truck had broken down that night. Miss Evelyn walked outside, holding coffee in her hands. She said, "Son, the world's already cold enough. Come warm yourself a while." Kindness never asks who deserves it, it simply shows up. The last porch light on Maple Street guided hearts that lost their way. Some stayed only for an hour, some carried that warmth forever. Years had passed, the house is quiet, the rocking chair no longer sways, but every neighbor still leaves a porch light on. After the funeral, the whole town gathered. Nobody planned it, nobody spoke, one by one. Every porch light came on across Maple Street. From the hill, it looked like the stars had come down to say goodbye. Faded away, it simply moved from one heart to another. Now every evening, before I lock my door, I flip that little switch and leave one light burning. Maybe tonight someone out there needs to know they're not alone. A porch light costs almost nothing, but to somebody trying to find their way home, it can mean everything. clock began to chime, as if it still remembered our time. The diner closed at 2:30. I stayed behind and waited for you. The chairs went up, the lights went low, but my lonely heart refused to go. Your cup was gone, your seat was cold. The night had nothing left to hold. They locked the door and cleared the room when the diner closed at 2:30. We came here after factory nights, with tired hands and hungry eyes. 1 plate of fries, 2 cups of tea was all the wealth we used to need. You drew a heart upon the glass and promised hard times would not last. The heart is gone, the window changed, but I still see your smiling face. The diner closed at 2:30. I stayed behind and waited for you. The chairs went up,
The chairs went up,
the lights went low,
the lights went low,
but my lonely heart refused to go. Oh yeah, your cup was gone, your cup was gone, your seat was cold. The night had nothing left to hold. They locked the door and cleared the room when the diner closed at 2:30. Some love is kept in wedding gold, some lives and stories often told, but ours still lives in coffee steam, in 1 red booth inside my dreams. The diner closed at 2:30. At 2:30, the neon died, the rain came through. I placed $1
by your plate,
for all the nights you stayed up late. Then I walked out beneath the blue, past every road that led to you. The morning found me passing through when the diner closed at 2:30. The empty cups were put away, the dark surrendered to the day. But in my heart, that old red room still stays open past 2:30. I turned the key with shaking hands and stepped where childhood used to stand. The rooms were bare, the curtains gone, but cedar lingered through it all. The hallway marks were painted white. The floor still leaned toward Mama's side. One breath beneath that empty roof, and every vanished year came through. No chair, no coat, no supper flame. Still that old fragrance knew my name. The house still smelled like cedar, like Sunday clothes and winter fires, like Daddy coming through the doorway with factory dust and tired eyes. The walls had lost our pictures, the rooms had given back their years, but the house still smelled like cedar, and every breath brought someone near. The kitchen held no table now, just pale squares where its feet wore down. I saw us passing bread around while evening settled on the town. Mama saved the smallest piece, and Daddy bowed his head in peace. We thought those nights would always stay. We never saw them fade away. The house still smelled like cedar, like Sunday clothes and winter fires, like Daddy coming through the doorway with factory dust and tired eyes. The walls had lost our pictures, the rooms had given back their years, but the house still smelled like cedar, and every breath brought someone near. A home is more than boards and stone. It keeps the love that once was known, and sometimes one familiar scent returns the years that living spent. The house still smelled like cedar when morning touched the bedroom door. I heard my mother in the kitchen and Daddy's boots across the floor. I knew they were not waiting, yet somehow they had never left. The house still smelled like cedar and held what time could not collect. I closed the door and faced the road with one small piece of cedar wood. The house grew distant in the rain, but home stayed breathing in my hands. called me by my old nickname, and 40 years fell from my face. One little word across the diner brought my younger heart awake. I stopped for coffee after rain at a roadside place on Willow Lane. She sat beneath the window light with silver hair and eyes still bright. I almost passed without a sign till her familiar gaze met mine. Then through the clatter, soft and clear, the childhood name reached through the years. No one had used that name since then, not since we were 17. She called me by my old nickname, and suddenly the years were gone. The jukebox played, the summer waited, where our first love had begun. I saw the girl beside the river, she saw the boy I used to be. She called me by my old nickname and gave that boy back to me. We took a booth and talked till 3 of roads we chose and families. She showed me pictures of her sons. I spoke about the wife I loved. We did not mourn the life we missed, or reach across for one more kiss. We only let the memories rise like fireflies beneath July. Her laugh still lifted at the end, the way it did when we were friends. She called me by my old nickname, and suddenly the years were gone. The jukebox played, the summer waited, where our first love had begun. I saw the girl beside the river, she saw the boy I used to be. She called me by my old nickname and gave that boy back to me. Age had changed our hands and faces, life had led us different ways. Still one name could cross the distance and return a vanished day. Some loves are not meant for returning, some remain a gentle flame, not to burn the present down, just to warm us when they say our name. She called me by my old nickname, and something tight began to shine. Not because I wanted yesterday, but because it once was mine. We hugged beneath the diner awning, then walked towards separate streets. She called me by my old nickname and left its music there with me. She called me by my old nickname as evening settled on the town. I went home older than that young boy, but lighter than when I sat down. The rain had stopped on Willow Lane. I whispered once that childhood name, then smiled at who I used to be, still living somewhere deep in me. Morning leaned across the room. Your perfume faded with the moon. The front door closed at 10:30. I knew you would not turn again. Your coat was gone, your chair was bare, but one red mark was waiting there. A little flame against the white, still holding on to last night. I could wash the cup and clear the stain, but I could not rinse away the pain. Her lipstick stayed on my coffee cup after her heart had given up. One crimson kiss along the rim, where our goodbye had settled in. The coffee cooled, the daylight rose. I held the last thing she left close. She took her love and packed it up, but her lipstick stayed on my coffee cup. 3 long days I left it there, beside the window by her chair. The house grew still, the flowers bent, but that red line stayed innocent. It knew the mornings we had shared, the quiet ways she showed she cared. Now every room felt twice as wide, with one small memory by my side. Her lipstick stayed on my coffee cup after her heart had given up. One crimson kiss along the rim, where our goodbye had settled in. The coffee cooled, the daylight rose. I held the last thing she left close. She took her love and packed it up, but her lipstick stayed on my coffee cup. Love can leave without a warning, still remain inside the morning, in a scent, a chair, a stain, small enough to hold the pain. I finally washed the cup at dawn, not because the love was gone. I let the water take the red, but kept the life that we had led. Her lipstick stayed on that coffee cup long enough to wake me up. Love should live inside the heart, not in the place where two lips part. The stain was gone, the cup was clean, but she still lived in what we'd been. I watched the morning fill it up, where her lipstick stayed on my coffee cup. The sunlight warmed the empty chair. I poured one cup and left it there. No crimson mark, no borrowed touch, just gratitude for loving much. The mailbox hadn't said much lately, just bills and magazines. Then one spring afternoon in April, a faded envelope found me. Your handwriting stopped me cold, soft blue ink I used to know. No return address, just my name, written the way you always did. Some letters don't travel through the miles, they travel through the years. Her birthday card arrived in April, though her birthday came in June. Inside were words I'd waited half a lifetime to hear from you. I hope you're finally smiling. I hope you've learned to forgive. Some love returns, not to start again, but to help you live. Pressed between the folded pages was a little maple leaf. I remembered carving our initials there when we were just 17. The perfume had long disappeared, but somehow I could still recall the scent of summer after rain and your hand inside my own. Time changes calendars, but not every feeling. Some seasons never really end. Her birthday card arrived in April, like spring had found my soul again. Every sentence healed a silence I've been carrying for years. No promises, no regrets, only kindness written small. Sometimes that's the greatest gift of all. At the bottom of the card you wrote, "Don't remember me." The way we ended, the way we lived, the way we meet. I folded the the first time, the memory didn't hurt. A birthday card arrived in April, long before the summer came. It reminded me that healing rarely follows our plans. Now every April, when the dogwoods bloom, I take that old card from the drawer. Not because I'm waiting anymore, but because gratitude deserves to be remembered too. Some letters arrive late, but the ones written from the heart are never too late. Smoke was rising through the morning sky. Neighbors stood with tears in their eyes. The old white house where I was raised was disappearing into flames. Every picture, every rocking chair, every birthday hanging in the air. I watched 30 years of memories turn to ash before my eyes. Sometimes you don't know what really matters until everything else is gone. The fireman carried Mama's Bible out, covered in ashes, but still unburned somehow. He placed it gently in my hands without a single word. Inside the cover, Mama had written, love God, love people. The rest will find its place. That old Bible saved more than pages. It saved me. The kitchen walls were gone by noon. The porch where Daddy played old tunes. Only the chimney still stood tall, guarding what was left of home. Then my little girl held my hand, looked across the empty land. She whispered, Daddy, we'll build another one. Hope sounded just like that. Homes can be rebuilt. Faith already knows how. The fireman cared touched that place. It wasn't magic, it wasn't chance, it was a reminder love survives every fire. That evening, we gathered in the backyard. No roof, no walls, just folding chairs and one old Bible. I opened to Mama's favorite verse, then every neighbor finished it from memory. Something else that day, hope. Now whenever life feels like it's burning down, I remember the strongest things aren't always made of wood or brick. Sometimes they're written inside the heart. The house was lost, the faith remained, and somehow that was enough to start again. The depot clock was 10 years slow. Weeds climbed the tracks where we would go. I held the ticket from that night when youth in Memphis shared one light. The waiting room had lost its heat. Dust settled where you kissed my cheek. I asked the rails which way they ran. They only rusted in my hands. I came to find the road I knew, but every mile had vanished too. There are no trains back to yesterday, no midnight line to carry me away. The platform stays, the whistle's gone, the heart remembers, time moves on. I could buy a seat, I could call your name, but nothing comes on these old rails again. Some roads return, some memories stay. There are no trains back to yesterday. The station master knew my face. He said they closed this route with age. The town grew quiet, people left, only the water tower remained. I saw myself at 21, one worn out coat, one rising sun. You stood beneath the yellow sign, still asking me to change my mind. I chose a world beyond that track and spend my whole life looking back. There are no trains back to yesterday. Ooh, no midnight line to carry me away. The platform stays, the whistle's gone, the heart remembers, time moves on. I could buy a seat, I could call your name, but nothing comes on these old rails again. Some roads return, some memories stay. There are no trains back to yesterday. The past is not a place to live. It takes more than it has to give. But every loss along the line still helped this weary heart become mine. There are no trains back to yesterday, so I laid that old ticket on the rails. I thanked the boy who boarded then, and forgave the man who came again. The morning touched the rusted steel and taught my heart what time could heal. I turned toward home at break of day, with no train back to yesterday. The depot faded in my mirror, the road ahead grew wide and clear. No whistle called, no engine came, but I left lighter than I came. The church door opened with a cry. Dust rose beneath the colored light. The hymn books leaned along the wall, as if they still recalled us all. Beside the pew where Mama prayed, her Sunday shoes remained in place. Black leather worn around the heel, more holy than the stained glass saints. Those little shoes had walked through pain and brought our hungry hearts through rain. Mama's Sunday shoes beside the pew still look like they were waiting for you. They carried faith on tired feet, down every hard and broken street. The church was still, the choir was gone, but in my heart she carried on. I heard her old song rising through Mama's Sunday shoes beside the pew. She wore them when the rent was due, and when the winter wind came through, she wore them to my first small show, then walked back home through falling snow. She never owned a diamond ring, but gave me every song I sang. Her hands were rough, her voice was low, yet somehow made the darkness glow. Mama's Sunday shoes beside the pew still look like they were waiting for you. They carried faith on tired feet, down every hard and broken street. The church was still, the choir was gone, but in my heart she carried on. I heard her old song rising through Mama's Sunday shoes beside the pew. I used to think her faith was small, a whispered prayer against the wall. Now every mile this old man knew was built upon those Sunday shoes. Mama's Sunday shoes beside the pew held every road she walked me through. I placed my hands upon their soles and felt her strength inside my soul. I left them where her prayers had grown. They did not need to travel home. For every step I take is proof I'm still walking in Mama's shoes. The evening crossed the empty room and rested softly on the pew. I closed the door but heard her tune, still walking in those Sunday shoes. I still got Sunday left in me. A little faith, a little melody. Saturday took what it could take, but Sunday morning found me awake. I opened up the curtains wide, let golden daylight fall inside. My old blue suit was worn and thin, but I brushed it off and stepped back in. The mirror showed me every year, every hard road, every tear. Still these tired eyes could see some good was waiting there for me. I have walked through nights so long, I nearly forgot the morning song. But this old heart still knows the key. I still got Sunday left in me. I still got Sunday left in me. left in me. I passed the church on Willow Lane, where Mama sang through joy and pain. The doors were open, bells rang clear, and every note pulled heaven near. I saw my brother by the stairs. We had not spoken in 10 years. I crossed the yard, held out my hand, and let forgiveness make us men. Some pride is heavy as a stone. To love reminds you where you're from. That morning set my spirit free. I still got Sunday left in me. I still got Sunday left in me. A little hope and harmony. One more wrong I need to mend. One more road around the bend. The years may bend these aging knees, but they have not taken all of me. I have lost much, but I believe I still got Sunday left in me. Sunday is not just bells and preaching. It is mercy finally reaching. Every room where sorrow stayed, every debt the heart has paid. It is coffee with your daughter. It is laughter after tears. It is learning life grows sweeter when you stop counting the years. I still got Sunday left in me. Hear that old soul melody. I've got kindness left to give. I've got reasons left to live. I'll wear my suit,
I'll shine my shoes,
I'll shine my shoes.
I'll sing away
These midnight blues.
these midnight blues.
The evening comes eventually, but I still got Sunday left in me. I still got Sunday left in me. A little fire, a little peace, as long as morning calls my name. This old heart will rise again. The sun climbed high above the trees, warm as Mama's memory. I walked home smiling, light and free. I still got Sunday left in me. Daddy's guitar paid the rent when every last red dollar went. He sold the only dream he owned so we could keep a place called home. That old six-string leaned beside the chair where Daddy played at night. His walnut back was scratched and worn. His voice was warm as Sunday morn. He used to sing when work was slow, about about the roads he wished to know. But every time we gathered near, his little songs made hunger disappear. Then winter shut the factory down, and worry moved across our town. Daddy's guitar paid the rent when every little saving went. He traded songs and polished wood to give his children what he could. No stage lights ever knew his name, no record carried what he played, but sacrifice became his fame. Daddy's guitar kept out the rain. I saw him wrap it in his coat, like holding someone he had known. He walked beneath the falling snow toward the pawn shop down the road. He came back with an empty hand and $40 folded thin. Mama turned away to cry, while Daddy smiled and stepped inside. He said the walls were worth much more than any song behind the door. Daddy's guitar paid the rent when every little saving went. He traded songs and polished wood to give his children what he could. No stage lights ever knew his name, no record carried what he played, but sacrifice became his fame. Daddy's guitar kept out the rain. Spring day beneath the sign, I found that guitar in a store with Daddy's initials near the chord. The finish cracked, the strings turned brown, but I could hear his old sweet sound. I spent the money I had saved and brought his younger dream away. He never got to hold it later. He had left this world the year before. Still I carried it back home and placed it by his empty chair. Then my grandson touched the strings and found the song beneath the years. What a father gives in silence can become a family's prayer. Daddy's guitar paid the rent, but his music never truly went. It lived inside these hands of mine and waited through a lifetime. Now and every Sunday after 5, I make his old wood come alive. The house he saved still knows the name of the man who kept out wind and rain. Daddy's guitar paid the rent. He gave his dream without regret. Now every note my children hear their grandfather standing near. That old 6 train rests at home, no longer lost, no longer gone. Daddy sold it to save our lives, but love brought every song back home. Friday took our final dime. Bills were stacked and work was tight, but Saturday brought music home and made that little room our own. Beans were warm, the table small, one old radio by the wall. You wore red, I wore my green. Then the weekend pulled us in. We were poor, but Saturday was rich. One slow dance and a radio switch. No diamond rings, no fancy car, just your sweet hand and my old guitar. The rent ran late, the lights burned low. Still we had more than money could show. We had love that trouble couldn't fix. We were poor, but Saturday was rich. Rain came tapping on the glass. We let every heartbeat pass. Barefoot circles on the floor made us feel we needed nothing more. You spun once, I missed the beat. We laughed until we lost our feet. Sunday waited down the hall, but Saturday gave us it all. We were poor, but Saturday was rich. One slow dance and a radio switch. No diamond rings, no fancy car, just your sweet hand and my old guitar. The rent ran late, the lights burned low. Still we had more than money could show. We had love that trouble couldn't fix. We were poor, but Saturday was rich. Money leaves and seasons change. Love can turn a room to gold. What we lacked inside our pockets, we carried in the way we held. We were poor, but Saturday was rich. Every kiss was a lucky wish. No crowded club, no shining stage, just 2 young hearts outrunning age. Now silver lives, where black hair grew, but Saturday still brings me you. One old song matching twists. We were poor, but Saturday was rich. The radio fades, the night grows still. I choose that little room again. We had nothing money could miss. We were poor, but Saturday was rich. Church bell echoed through the pines, a quiet morning wrapped in white. I straightened up my borrowed tie and walked through those old wooden doors. Faces older than I remembered, eyes that carried years like rain. Then a gentle voice behind me said, "Little Tommy, you've come home again." I hadn't heard my childhood name in almost 30 years. Some words can open doors you thought were gone forever. The undertaker knew my childhood name. Long before he asked why I came, he said, "Your daddy used to bring you here, holding your tiny hand." The room grew still around my soul as memories quietly took control. Sometimes the past doesn't call you back, it simply whispers your name. He pointed toward an old oak pew. That's where your mama always sat. I could almost hear her Sunday hymn floating through the stained glass light. Outside the cemetery gate, wildflowers leaned into the breeze. Every stone held somebody's story, every name a lifetime of love. Growing up isn't forgetting, it's learning how precious remembering can be. The undertaker knew my childhood name, like the years had never slipped away. He didn't speak of loss, he spoke of laughter and fishing trips in June. For one small hour, death wasn't in the room, only love, remembering everyone exactly as they were. Before I left, he shook my hand and quietly smiled. "Son, people think my job is about endings, but the truth is, I spend my days protecting memories." still smile when they say your name. One day someone will remember us, not for how long we lived, but for how gently we loved. Bus stop still stands on Willow Road, paint peeling from the weathered post. I hadn't been there in 20 years, yet every step felt strangely close. Then I remembered one September day, leaves were falling, skies were gray. You wore those little yellow shoes, brighter than the morning sun. Funny how a single color can bring back an entire lifetime. Her yellow shoes waited at the bus stop long after the last bus rolled away. Every dream we ever talked about still echoes there today. I can still see you smiling, holding that little paper bag. Some people leave, love keeps standing exactly where you met. You said, don't forget this little town. I laughed, I'll be back before the leaves are gone. Life had different plans for us. The seasons kept moving on. Years taught me many things, how to lose and how to win, but they never taught my heart how to stop missing you. Promises made by young hearts never really disappear. They simply grow older with us. Her yellow shoes waited at the bus stop, like yesterday refused to fade. Every passing bus reminded me of the choice we never made. The bench grew old, the road stayed the same. Only time learned our names. Last spring I drove that road again. A little girl stood at the same bus stop, wearing bright yellow shoes. She waved just before the bus arrived, and somehow the ache inside my heart turned into a smile. The bus stop, not to bring the past back home, but to remind me that beautiful moments never truly leave. They become part of every road we travel. Now whenever autumn paints the trees, I slow down, smile to myself, and whisper, thank you for waiting.
Some memories
Don't fade with time,
they simply
keep waiting. Like a pair of yellow shoes at an old bus stop.